Guys, just real quick, I'm going to do a little video here just basically announcing, letting people know that I have this available for sale. Pretty popular tube, pretty desirable, generally a pretty expensive tube. So if you have an amp that runs one of these and you need a good spare, this one's probably going to be a good candidate for you. Bang for buck, make somebody a nice deal on it here. 3cx1500a7, 8877 Eimac. Again, physically, it looks like a brand new tube. I thought it was probably new old stock when I got it. However, it hadn't been tested. I didn't have a chance to test it in the amp that I sold before I sold it. So I was offering it up for sale with a AL1500. But again, I was just going off the person's word that I got it from, and they were going off of the person's word that they got it from. So the tube could have been a dud. It was going to be a risk for anybody that bought it. So I eliminated that risk and that chance and sent it to, Richardson Electronics down in Florida. They do a good job. I've sent several tubes down there. They can test everything from like a 250B, up to your gigantic tubes, your 15,000s and 20,000s and so on there. They can test those. They test them. They examine them physically, and then they do the electrical test on them. And I've got the sheet here with it that I'll post a picture of going up for sale. You guys can see the date on it down here. 26 February 2025 is when it was tested. And we'll just go over that real quick. Again, if you were to buy one of these tubes, new old stock with the box and everything, you're probably going to pay $1,200 to $1,500. Anyway, they're a pretty pricey tube. So physical examination, just basically skimming over, it says mild socket scratches to the base and the plate cap, consistent with the tube being used. So again, it has been used at one time or another, apparently used, but probably not abused. Application of 5 kV DC to the anode of the tube. Ground to the grid shows minimal current draw, indicating that the tube's vacuum is intact and is not gassy, which that's a good sign. Application of 5 volts DC to the heater showed a current draw of 10.3 amps. This is normal, as factory spec is 10.5 amps plus or minus 10%. So it's well within spec as far as that goes. Tube was pulse tested under load and showed a peak emission of 69. A new tube will read about 85 on our console. So overall results down here at the bottom, I'll just read it to you guys. This tube is in fair condition, making approximately 82% of emission of a new tube and should be serviceable in lower output hobby applications. So it's good enough to run. It's not going to do full output, but again, you're not going to be paying full price for this thing either. It'll make a good spare tube for somebody. Maybe you have an amp that you're trying to sell and you need a tube for it, and you don't want to buy a brand new tube to put in it. You want one that's going to do good power, but maybe not full output. Well, here you go. If we say that this is a 3,500 watt tube, 80%, 82% of that's going to be 2,900, 3,000, somewhere along that. 2,900 probably. I haven't done the exact math in my head, but about that is what you'd probably be getting out of it. And again, I've seen this, guys. I've seen some of these tubes test, 82% emission. And when you go to actually put them in an amp, there might be 200 watts difference between it and a new one. I mean, I haven't seen them test exactly 82%, but you guys get what I'm saying. I've seen them test at 80% or 85%. And there's barely a noticeable difference when it comes to running them in an amp. So again, I would say worst case scenario with this tube, again, if you say that this is a 3,500 watt tube PEP, which people will run them, that much plus some, then I would say realistically, you're going to see, 2,800 to 3,000 watts PEP out of it. And it may do more, but it's going to be listed at a fraction of the price. Look, I think probably $550 shipped will be fair on it. I think that's more than fair considering what these things go for brand new. And there's some tubes floating around out there on eBay, guys. Some of them will look just as good as this tube, but guess what? They don't have a test report for it. I don't care to tell you guys, I spent like $100 getting this done, give or take there. So, that's what it cost me to send it down there and to have it tested and everything. So that's worth a little bit in itself to have the test sheet with it. All right, thanks everybody. More videos to come. Rooster and 10, roostercb.com. I'll get this one listed up on the website under used equipment and specials. Again, it'll come with the test report. And again, I do believe, you know, $550 is a hell of a deal for it, in my opinion. So hopefully it'll help somebody out, maybe get you back on the air, or if you're trying to sell an amp that runs one of these, you know, you'll be able to do that as well. All right, see you guys. Thanks. Rooster and 10. See you. Bye.